A lot of times we receive signals that would nudge us in a certain direction. Financially, it might be a general dissatisfaction with the current state of our finances. And mind you, previously you might have prayed or desired or even worked your way into your current financial level. In terms of your professional career, you might have worked hard and actually acquired the skills necessary to get you into the level where you currently operate at. However, there will come a time, because there are changing times and seasons incorporated in the general fabric of life. And there's coming that time when the current season, the current state, the current experience that you're in is just going to become obsolete for you. You're going to outgrow that level, essentially. And when you outgrow a level, internally within your own system, your personal body, God has incorporated alerts to signify, to call our attention to the fact that while there might be changing events outside of us, it always starts internally. Within us, God is always nudging us in a certain direction to understand that a change of season is right around the corner if it hasn't already gotten here. But what do? Just like we hit that snooze button on our alarms, we just ignore these usually. And the fun thing is, these alerts of change are not very loud. You know, it's usually a little nudge, just that little frustration within you where you're thinking, you know what, I'm pretty comfortable right now, but if I were to expand the dependency upon my life, that means if more people were to depend on me, if you were to get married, if you were to take some people under your charge, you really realize that the current level of your streams of income wouldn't be able to sustain that level of responsibility. Or quite frankly, you got to face the sad reality of living paycheck to paycheck. But right inside of you, you know that that's uncomfortable. You can feel it. You see, that's why I said it's not very loud. It's that little discomfort within you, or within, the realm of your professional world. You begin to realize that there are new requirements from you at work, and the current level of your skills wouldn't be able to fill up that gap, and you begin to feel a little uncomfortable. And you see, if this alert is mismanaged, it might be converted into insecurity, doubt, and sometimes some people might go down the route of even depression or jealousy, or you just feel incompetent. That's when an alert of change is mismanaged. When an alert of change is well managed, it's got the potential to create a change in life and an upgrade in your standards and skill. Usually paying attention to those little nudges within us. You've evolved with a certain group of people, of friends up until this level. Then you get to this season where you realize, really, I'm tired of hearing the same rhetoric every day. I'm tired of having the same jokes sent every day. You just feel it within you. It's not that those people have done anything wrong. You've just gotten to a season where you've outgrown that relationship. And if within you, God has put that predisposition to be a leader, and you're currently in an environment where you're being muffled and your capacity is not being given the latitude to be expanded and to fully become that leader in your own right, you're going to get the alert and the nudge within you. And again, these are very subtle and easily ignorable. It takes a heightened sense of sensitivity. The Bible calls it discernment. To understand that these nudges, these things that appear benign, these things that appear almost, negligible, really have a deeper meaning and actually are signifying that the giant within us wants to be released. A lot of times, every people that we've read through in history, we've encountered in life who've made and done major breakthroughs, there are people who've developed this sense of discerning those inner nudges. And when we look at the book of Exodus 3 verse 2-3, it narrates an amazing story. It says Moses stared in amazement. So if you read a little bit earlier in verse 2, it says, a little bit earlier in verse 2, it says, the angel of the Lord appeared to Moses in a blazing fire from the middle of a bush. And then it says, Moses stared in amazement. Though the bush was engulfed in flames, it didn't burn up. And this is hear what Moses said. This is amazing, Moses said to himself. Why isn't that bush burning up? I must go see it. So you realize that Moses was tending the flock of his father-in-law. And he led the flock into the wilderness, and he came right next to Mount Sinai, God's mountain. And there an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire from the middle of the bush. So Moses noticed something uncommon, unusual. He's out and about, just minding his business, tending the flock of his father-in-law. And out of nowhere, he sees a bush engulfed in flames. But specifically, he questioned what he saw. Not only did he find it amazing, but the amazement, the later part of the verse here explains to us, the amazement was expressed through a question. And Moses said, why isn't that bush burning up? And not only was his amazement expressed in a question, it was followed by a concrete action. Then what does he say? I must go see it. You see, here he's not debating. Moses isn't debating whether he should go see it. It is clear, it's certain, and it's an affirmation. I must go see it. So how many times do we notice changes in our lives, those things that are changing? How many times are we nudged by the Holy Spirit? How many times is that character trait of us called upon by God, asking us to change it? How many times is that habit of ours nudged? And how many times does God point on that habit, on that addiction? How many times does God show us signals even through our health? How many times do we need to be alerted before we pay attention? Here, Moses saw something uncommon. He saw a burning bush, fire in the middle of a bush. But he noted a peculiarity. This bush seemed to be set ablaze, but it wasn't burning. Not only did Moses question it, Moses went closer to explore and study it. And if you read the later part of the chapter, you know that God spoke to Moses. But had Moses not been curious about what he saw, had he not been inquisitive and even a step further, daring to explore what was uncommon, what was unfamiliar, what seemed different, what seemed different from what he had known up until now. You got to remember, he was tending the flock. This was his day to day. But in his day to day, he noticed something different. And he became curious and explored it. And that led him to hearing God and encountering God, the supernatural. Maybe it's at our jobs. What are those burning bushes, those uncommon happenings? We have been doing these jobs for a number of years now, but what are those things that you're noticing that are different, which might be an exploitable area for your breakthrough? An exploitable area where you would be a solution for your boss. You would be a blessing to the people who are working with you or for you, or for whom you're working. Whatever the case, the encouragement is the giant within you and I needs to be released into the world. And most often, it comes by noticing and paying attention to those things that might be out of order, out of the ordinary. And all it takes is a mind curious enough. It's a mind that's willing to explore uncharted waters. A mind that is willing to dare to go where everybody else wouldn't want to go. I'm sure some other people might have wanted to run away from the burning bush, but Moses dared to do what every other person wouldn't dare to do. So, dear leader, this is an encouragement. As we're on this season on the dynamics of change, do not disregard the alerts to change. Do not stay complacent when an opportunity to be transformed is offered and given to you. Because at the end of the day, and on the other side of that uncommon happening, lays your breakthrough, lays my breakthrough. So let's dare to go onto uncharted waters. Let's dare to challenge the status quo. Let's dare to explore unexplored pathways within our spheres of influence. And I pray that God will surely surprise us and bring us into new vistas, show us new frontiers, new experiences. And truly, we will rise as an army of godly leaders who pay attention to the alert of change and who dare to climb the mountains no one ever dared to before, who dared to go into the burning bushes no one ever dared to before. All right, thank you. And it's on this encouragement that I wish you an amazing time as you continue to listen into this series of podcasts on the dynamics of change. Thank you. We love you and see you in the next episode.